So, how is everybody? I put as the title of today's broadcast, Racists and Racism are Dangerous to Everyone. And the sooner we realize this, the sooner more people realize this, the sooner we can take steps to facilitate protecting people rather than putting people in danger. A lot of people are likely to die after Thanksgiving. A lot of people are already dying, 250,000 people with confirmed COVID deaths in the United States, to say nothing of large numbers of people with long-haul COVID effects after recovering from a case. So how is it that racism is dangerous to everyone? I mean, racism is particularly dangerous to its intended targets, typically people from a stigmatized minority group. So anti-Blackness racism contributes overtly and covertly to bad outcomes for Black Americans and Black people in other countries as well, because anti-Black racism is quite pervasive around the world. But how does it hurt everyone? Well, everyone is in danger in the United States because of likely hospital system collapse. Health professionals have been yelling about this on Twitter, but their voices are not always given priority, and their messages are often falling on deaf ears because of the very effective counter messaging emanating from Republican politicians such as Trump, Republican senators such as Ted Cruz, and Republican officials at various levels of office. Sheldon and Alan, you're up late. Hello, Eleanor. Hello. So Mgage is saying people are finally giving up on the Trump thing. That might be, as a consequence of Sidney Powell being kicked off Trump's legal team today in a hysterical piece of Confederacy of Dunces theater. Confederacy is actually a great word to apply to the ongoing attempted coup. So tomorrow, Michigan's supposed to be certified, have its election results certified, but Republican officials are making noises about how people on the board of canvassers might illegally refuse to certify the results and seek a delay and an investigation of more of the Trump accusations and Sidney Powell accusations, even though the court system has been processing those accusations and throwing them out because of paucity of evidence, inadequacy of argument, and lack of standing. Good afternoon to me. And yes, the courts are really plowing through those frivolous cases. I think 32 losses and 2 wins. And it's important to know what the wins are. I'm not entirely sure, but I think a few hundred ballots in one state, in Pennsylvania, may have been discarded because something wasn't on an envelope. There wasn't something on an outer envelope. But the loss of a few hundred votes in Pennsylvania, while sad for those people, is nothing in the greater picture of this substantial Biden margin of victory in multiple swing states, so that Trump's pursuit of legal remedy for having lost the election in a landslide blowout in Biden's favor has very few pathways. Well, there's no pathways. People talk about these pathways when they don't deserve any legitimacy. What they do is endanger Americans, because they legitimize, or at least give Emily Murphy a cover story for her continued obduracy and intransigence in refusing to ascertain the results of the election, and therefore give access to the millions of dollars in transition funding to the Biden team, and also preventing them from coordinating with critical heads of department in the US government in relation to the rollout of a vaccine, or multiple vaccines. So really, every day of Emily Murphy's inaction now and failure to comply with the will of the collective American people as expressed through the results of a presidential election tens of thousands of Americans could potentially die as a consequence of her actions. So Representative George Connolly wrote a thread about how he's been working with Emily Murphy for some time in his capacity as a Democratic congressman. And she has been obstructive and non-compliant for a long time now. There have been controversial, unethical dealings involved that involve the Trump Hotel in DC and involve the FBI wanting to move headquarters, but they're not moving headquarters, which turns out to be in the financial interests of Donald Trump. And Emily Murphy originally lied to congressional hearings saying he wasn't involved. They just changed their mind on guidance from the FBI. Then a photo was revealed that showed Emily Murphy in the office with Donald Trump discussing the Trump Hotel situation and the FBI headquarters situation. And then Emily Murphy recanted and admitted that she had misled Congress. Hello, Michelle. Eleanor's partner was tested COVID almost 2 weeks ago and then was rushed to the hospital, which is so scary. Yes, how is your partner doing now? Oh, all right, let me share some good content. She's a professor at a college here. They should have been on remote learning, but no, now she might die. So she's still in hospital. I'm so sorry, Eleanor. Oh, dear. So a small change of pace. This is an ad from the former Republicans who comprise the Lincoln Project, who have made an ad denouncing Republicans, which I think is so important for us to watch, to share, to see how people can call out those in their own ranks, to denounce them when they're behaving in a way that puts people in danger, that undermines systems set up to protect people, that undermines people's lives. I'm so sorry. She's so sick. Hi, Cosmic Rose. Missed you too. You're in Maestro. Hello. If you have time later, I have to go get my kids soon, but I was thinking maybe you could help me. I want to show people charts. I want to show people graphs about variations in recovery rates, how there might be a lot of recovery. There's also a lot of asymptomatic transmission possible. People still have to take it into account that staying home can prevent transmission pathways that result in death and disability for still millions of Americans. No, I don't have to use my real house. This is tidier and nicer. So yeah, I think simple graphical figures like Katie Porter with her little whiteboards. I've got a little whiteboard. I just want to draw graphs to show people a proportion. The US numbers are out of control, yes, which is why one of the things I hope to do quickly is to read a thread from a health professional who worked in a COVID unit for 8 months, didn't see her toddler, and her toddler was finally happy again. She'd been able to return home. Numbers were decreasing, but Trump and co started with their anti-mask positioning in order, I believe, to increase Trump's chances of winning the election by dividing the electorate into people who wouldn't wear a mask and would vote in person, so that in-person voting would skew heavily for Trump, and then people who didn't take Trump's word as gospel, believed in the risks of the pandemic, and so voted by mail, leading vote by mail to skew Democratic. And then Trump just had to get Louis DeJoy to delay the mail and then try and run with, oh, look, I've won on election night. I'm such a winner. No more counting. We're all done. And people thwarted him, I think, by realizing, first of all, the shenanigans with the mail meant that maybe they should vote in person. So some Democrats exercised their ability to vote in person and avail themselves of opportunities to vote early. So that, yes, a lot of Democrats voted by mail, but also many voted early in person. So he wasn't able to cheer for his own victory as conclusively as he would have wanted. And instead you had the Fox network call Arizona, preventing him from saying, oh yes, clearly only I have a path to victory. They made it more obvious that Joe Biden's path to victory in the election was more of a done deal. Yes, and certain states had Republican legislatures which purposefully blocked the passage of legislation that would have allowed for early counting of early mail-in votes. And instead, that was all pushed to the back of the queue. Those Republicans forced mail-in votes to be counted last in order to help Trump attempt a coup, in order to help Trump proclaim that mail-in Democratic votes shouldn't be counted, that only those who had voted in person and had their votes counted first should be part of the legitimate election results. Hello. All right, so I'm going to just show you this ad about Republicans and what they're doing, because I just want us to keep sharing that message.
It's now time to remove the word republic from the Republican Party. These hypocrites in office don't care about our republic. They don't care about our democracy or the Constitution they swore on a Bible to protect. No, in standing behind a president who has brought international shame to the Republican Party, we have seen their true colors, and they are treasonous, unpatriotic, downright despotic, but most importantly, dangerous. Because while Trump has shown himself to be feckless and pathetic and unmoored in the chaos he has attempted to sow, there are others waiting in the wings, waiting for their turn to dismantle our democracy. And they are not so vacuous and insecure and self-absorbed. From this presidential embarrassment, they see a full and total shift to authoritarianism. Those are Republicans? We think not. We are watching, and so is the world.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So I think people who wanted to doubt that the Lincoln Project was firmly on the side of democracy, they can put away that doubt now. Those people are coming up with advertisements to call out the Republican Party, the current crop of Republican senators, as being dangerous subversives who are using Trump's weakening of U.S. democracy to issue further body blows and install an authoritarian system in the United States that has the appearance of a democracy, but not the reality of it. Yes, he skipped a summit on pandemic preparedness to play golf, which would be only illustrative of his negligence, whereas the point I was raising before about mail-in voting and how Trump delayed mail-in votes from being delivered through the appointment of Louis DeJoy to sabotage the United States Postal Service indicates that it's far more than golf playing negligence, that it's actually more likely to be willful endangerment of the American people in order to seek political advantage for himself. Yes, the Republican Party is splintering in its support for Republican senators just because there are now a lot of very angry Trump supporters who are completely detached from reality, but are chanting about how terrible Fox News is and how they intend to bring the Republican Party down to revenge themselves on the Republican Party for failing to support Trump to a level that they deem to be adequate. I mean, for the rest of us, the Republican Party are mostly supporting Trump in a way that's very deleterious to the institutions of democracy and therefore to the safety and potential prosperity and happiness of the American people. But yes. Cosmic Rose is saying she loves a court judgment that had moots on it. I'm unfamiliar with the word moots, but if you're talking about Justice Brand's judgment, that the Rudy Giuliani, the big Pennsylvania court case, the judge ruled that he was essentially being asked to throw out 7 million ballots of Pennsylvanians on the basis of nothing, no valid argument, that they produced a lot of sworn affidavits and then said themselves that they had dismissed a lot of these sworn affidavits as being spam, proving that the very security of saying, well, they're sworn affidavits, therefore they must have some merit to them, was not a reliable test for merit. Yes, that's a very good point too, that not only ballots were delayed because of the postal office sabotage conducted by Louis DeJoy at Trump's direction, but that people didn't receive their life-sustaining medications or their cards from relatives or their checks in the mail. People suffered incredible hardship because of the willful obstruction of the mail service. America has something much worse than a president. America has an active saboteur who has willfully cultivated a high level of COVID cases and COVID hospitalizations and death. And when people realize how much jeopardy everybody is in, because it's not even just COVID cases that will be harmed when medical professionals become burnt out at epidemic proportions or pandemic proportions, it will be everybody who can't then get adequate medical care for any other condition. So not just COVID, but anybody else. Pregnant women, not only will they not be able to have people accompany them when they give birth in a hospital setting, they won't be able to have an ICU bed if they have a complication with their pregnancy or labor. Glenn Kirshner, I believe, has a list of main crimes. We'll listen to that sometimes. But yes, Trump's committed a lot of crimes. I'm still focused on wanting to tell people to, A, help with the Georgia state election, because Biden needs a Senate majority, or at least a 50-50 split that Kamala Harris will be the deciding vote for as vice president. They need that in order to allow Biden to have the stimulus packages he needs to jumpstart the American economy into recovery, to jumpstart America's healing so that they can fight off the pandemic and its consequences and maintain their own health and safety. And that's in danger because Republicans are willing to let the country devolve into an economic depression in order to have a fire sale that their donors can benefit from, in order to keep pushing a false narrative that COVID's not a problem, but it will be a problem once Biden's in power, just to continue running off people's predilection for blaming Democrats unfairly for Republican-generated problems. So that's the message I'm going to leave you all with. I have to go and get my children, but see you later. Take care, and hope to speak again soon. Please stay safe. Please stay home, because just to avoid any accidents happening to you that might lead to you requiring hospital care. I'm just saying be really careful over the coming weeks and months, because America and Americans are in grave danger as a consequence of the racist, destructive actions of the Republican Party and the leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump. Thanks, Alan, Sheldon, Cosmic Rose, Euromaestro, Eleanor, Sheldon, everybody. Thank you so much. Engage. Take care, everybody. Bye.